All right. All right, Kansas City. We're here. Yeah, a little bit behind the clock, just a little bit, a few minutes, but we had a slight little technical incident come up, but I'm here. This is Louis George Walker coming to you with the BFTAA and more show. We have a great show lined up here for you today. We're giving out some information about an event that's going to be going on here in the city. So I want you to stay tuned, listen, get ready to have an informative good time. The Black Family Technology Awareness Association, in partnership with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, have come together to form this radio station, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, KUAW. KUAW is a product of these two organizations that fight to increase the opportunities for young people within the city to close the digital divide, to raise reading and math and science scores of students. So if you want to get your child involved in some good educational and fun activities, come to the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. Also, our robotics teams and drone academy will be forming soon for the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. All of it's happening right here at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center in Kansas City, Missouri. So we're glad that you're joining with us today. We hope that you're listening to us. We're on Facebook and on YouTube and Twitch. Right now, just search KUAW Radio and we should pop up. Also, you can pick us up on the audio side if you have the TuneIn app, Get Me Radio, Online Radio Box, or My Tuner. You can go there, search KUAW Radio, and you can pick us up on those. And if you have a smart speaker, a Google or Amazon smart speaker, tell it to play KUAW Radio, and you will get us there. So there's a lot of ways to listen to KUAW Radio, and we hope that you will try one of them out. We play a lot of old school music. We have live broadcasts like this, but when we're not on live, we're also broadcasting online on the audio only side. And you can listen to some old school music, some smooth jazz, some old jazz, some blues, some gospel music. We have a little mix of everything right here at KUAW Radio. So check out some of our shows. From noon till 3 o'clock every day, except for Tuesday, we do old school music. That's my old school mixes on the B.J. Murphy Show. So you can listen to B.J. Murphy from noon till 3 o'clock right here at KUAW Radio and get some of that good old school music in you. Yeah, you know you like them sounds from back in the day. So we have a lot of that coming up for you later on today. And after this show at 6, I believe it is, Professor Smooth Jazz will be on. No, not Professor Smooth Jazz. He won't be broadcasting here. I think it's it's at 6. I'll get it together, y'all. But right at 6 o'clock, we have B. Michael with Shifting Paradigms. He's just gotten married, so we've been waiting to get him back into the groove with us because we know how it is after you're celebrating the honeymoon and stuff. So he may not be here with this being the day before the 4th of July. I haven't talked to him yet, but I will email him or text him and see how he's doing and if he's ready to get back into the grind. But there's a lot of things going on. I went out this week to the outdoor art gallery that's going on right on 28th and Brooklyn. Artists are painting some signs, some billboards right there on 28th and Brooklyn right now. I've got some photos. I don't know that I can show them. I'll see if I can put them up for you today before we get off the air. But they're doing a great thing. Mr. Terrence Williams is spearheading that in the Santa Fe neighborhood. So if you have time, drive down Benton Boulevard and check out some art. Local artists are painting scenes right there on the billboards that are on Benton Boulevard between 28th and 29th Street, I believe it is, on Benton Boulevard. You can't miss it. It's on the east side of the street. So drive by or walk by. There's people going out there looking at it. They're going to have a grand opening celebration pretty soon. So check out the outdoor art gallery that's happening right now on Benton Boulevard and in the Santa Fe neighborhood. That's a great one to check out. Also, we have our regular shows that we do every Monday when we're here. you're going to hear what's going on in NASA and space to ground. So we'll find out what's happening up there in the orbiting space station that we have. And it's the first week of the month, so we will have the night sky with what's up in the sky. So what's up NASA, we'll look at what's going on in the night sky. You can tell the phases of the moon, find out what planets are visible, and a lot of different information for budding astronomers. So if you want to know about science and technology, NASA is definitely a good place to look, and that's where a lot of our scientists and technology, mathematicians, all those work. If you saw the movie Hidden Figures, you saw a lot about what goes on or what went on in the past at NASA, but there's a whole new generation, a whole new organization of people at NASA, and they're continuing to do cutting-edge development. So we're going to go to that right now in just a second. And we're also going to talk, we've got an interview coming up with Miss Emma Vince from the Afro-Pale Musical Festival. So that we're going to bring to you too in just a little bit. So we're going to start this day off and give you some of what's going on at NASA. So let's see, NASA, what's up? Here we go.
Showcasing our new Earth Information Center in search of an atmosphere around a rocky exoplanet and getting ready for an important delivery. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. On June 21st, we hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony at our headquarters in Washington to showcase NASA's new Earth Information Center. The center is part physical space and part virtual experience. It shows how data from Earth monitoring satellites and instruments that we make available to researchers and others can help improve life on Earth in the face of disasters, environmental challenges, and climate change. NASA created the Earth Information Center with several partner agencies. Learn more at climate.nasa.gov. An international team of researchers has used our James Webb Space Telescope to calculate the amount of heat energy coming from the exoplanet TRAPPIST-1c. The result suggests that if there is an atmosphere around the rocky exoplanet, it is extremely thin. This result marks another step in determining whether planets orbiting small red dwarfs like the host star in the TRAPPIST system can sustain atmospheres needed to support life as we know it. A new curation facility at our Johnson Space Center will eventually house the sample material from asteroid Bennu that is being returned to Earth by our OSIRIS-REx mission. The new facility will enable researchers to preserve, protect, handle, and examine the rock and dust samples, or regolith. The samples could provide insight into what role ancient asteroids like Bennu may have played in the formation of planets and other processes that may have ultimately led to life on Earth. The OREX return capsule is scheduled to land in the Utah desert in late September. On June 18th, we marked the 40-year anniversary of the late Sally Ride becoming the first American woman in space. Ride journeyed to orbit on that date in 1983 aboard Space Shuttle Challenger on STS-7 as part of NASA's first 5-person crew. The 6-day mission also featured the first release and retrieval of a satellite using the Canadian robotic arm and the launches of 2 other satellites. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right. That's what's going on at NASA. Oh, looks like I'm frozen here. That's not good. I know you guys can hear me, but I am not moving, and that is a problem. Let's see if we can deactivate and reactivate. Okay, there we are. I'm back. I'm live. I'm moving and stuff. Glad to see you. How you doing? Yes. All right. So that's what's going on at NASA. Some of the highlights of things. That Earth Center that they had, I went to it online. There's a lot of good stuff on that, too. You need to check that out. because that has a lot of good information, and it'd be fun for you to get on with your child or your children and explore some of the things that you can see about the earth and space and the winds and the tides. All of that are real good, learning tools. And it gets kids excited because it's science you can see, you can touch, you can interact with. So if you get a chance, please go to that new science center, the NASA Science Center that they have. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So that's good. All right. So we got one more that we're going to go. We're going to roll into. Also, if you guys been watching the news, you see what's been going on with the Supreme Court now that we do have a more conservative court, and that's, the way things go. Sometimes the court is more conservative, sometimes it's more liberal. It is real conservative now, so they're changing some things that were fought for and enacted and upsetting some people, and some people are cheering it on. So, it's politics as usual. And that's one thing that we have to remember. It's always good to exercise your right to vote, but not just to exercise your right to vote, but to have a plan, a strategy, know why you're voting, who you're voting for, what you're voting for. There was a plan, there was a strategy. This Supreme Court, being as conservative as it is, did not happen by accident. And for it to become more liberal or centrist, which is the best, I think, is if we had more of a centrist Supreme Court, but it would take a plan and an action to have that happen. It's not going to happen by accident. It will happen because people would plan for it. The people plan to put these people in that are in. They worked hard at it. They blocked some. They waited till the time was right, and then they were able to move and do things. And that's just shows what good planning can get you. Now, to live with it for some people is going to be very difficult. The fact that the student aid forgiveness is dropped, and some of the other rollbacks, abortion and the rights to serve or not serve people depending upon, right now they say it's your religion, but that can change to be a lot of things. So public accommodations would be the next thing that we really have to look at, because it's not that everybody has all the same rights all the time. So that's, a thing that we will have to look at. But hey, it's something to say that you need to be cognizant of your voting. Voting will be next year, next November. Not this November coming up, but next November will be an election time. This is a good time to start studying, to start looking at and also supporting the candidates that you feel have your best interests at heart. So that's my soapbox for today, and we're going to get on back to some science and education. And right now, we're going to go back to what's going on at the space station that's up there. And this is the segment called Space to Ground. Again, this is from our U.S. government, from NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So let's take a look at Space to Ground.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Chelsea Bayarte. Earlier this month, a SpaceX Dragon cargo spacecraft delivered scientific experiments and new rollout solar arrays to the International Space Station. And this week, it completed its mission with a splashdown back on Earth. It was the 28th cargo resupply mission for SpaceX. The spacecraft undocked from the Harmony module on the space-facing side of the space station on June 29th and made a parachute-assisted splashdown off the coast of Florida June 30th. But it didn't return to our planet empty-handed. A number of experiments and samples were on board, returning back to Earth after collecting data in microgravity. Speaking of making a splash, this week NASA astronauts released a wave of mini satellites into orbit. One is called Essence, and it can be used to study the thawing of ice and permafrost in the Canadian Arctic, among other things. But don't take my word for it, take it from the student researchers themselves.
So the Essence CubeSat's mission's purpose is to monitor climate change by using the wide-angle camera, which we have on board, to monitor the thawing of the permafrost in the northern Arctic and Canadian region.
There's also a proton detector on board, which is going to detect solar energetic events happening in the lower Earth orbit.
Inside the International Space Station, plants continue to grow, and this week NASA astronaut Woody Hoberg will tend to them. The experiment is called Plant Habitat 3, and it's studying the second generation of plants using seeds previously produced on orbit and returned to Earth. When exposed to the stress of spaceflight, plants may undergo genetic changes from one generation to the next. Results from this study could provide insight into how to grow generations of crops to provide food to astronauts on future space missions. This experiment is a follow-on to the Plant Habitat 2 experiment that studied how different types of soils and light affected the growth of radish plants. And yes, the astronauts got to eat the radishes and report on the taste when they were done. Just last week, researchers announced the environmental control and life support systems aboard the US segment of the space station can recover 98% of the water delivered to the space station. Before the upgrade, total water recovery was more like 93%. Two pieces of hardware helped achieve this goal: the urine processor assembly that recovers water from urine, and the brine processor assembly that can extract the remaining wastewater. Reclaiming water is important because each astronaut needs about a gallon of water per day for drinking, food prep, and hygiene. As the astronauts say, yesterday's coffee becomes tomorrow's coffee. That's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe sometimes you might feel like that's a little too much information for us, but as they say, yesterday's coffee becomes tomorrow's coffee. So they're reusing a lot of things up there in space. But that is life on the space station. That was Space to Ground. Now, the last thing that I have to bring to you from NASA is what's up, so we can see about what's in the night sky. So we're going to move right to it because I've got an interview that I want to get to. So here we go with what's up at NASA.
What's up for July? Mars and Venus go their separate ways. Saturn cruises with a dusty young star, and it's prime time for the Milky Way. You'll find Venus and Mars in the west after sunset throughout July. The pair moved ever closer in the sky during June, and they begin July appearing quite near to each other. But it's time for them to part company. You'll notice no
Stay up to date with all of NASA's missions to explore the solar system and beyond at nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
All right. Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the BFTAA and more
What's up
show.
for
I'm
June?
your host, Louis George
Planets
Walker,
buzz the
and I am
beehive,
so glad
your
to be
bright
with
evening
you today on
stars,
the BFTAA
and how the
and
summer
more
solstice
KUAW
revealed the size of planet
Radio,
Earth.
Kansas City. Wait a minute.
On June 1st and 2nd, Mars
Good
will be in the
afternoon.
beehive.
Good afternoon.
The
and
red
good-
planet
and
passes through the
welcome to
beehive
the
cluster,
BFTAA
also known as
and more
Praesepe
show
or
on
M44.
KUAW Radio,
It's a
Kansas
well-known
City's
open
global
cluster of
community
stars
radio station.
located about
We're
600.
so glad that you could join us today, and this is another fabulous Monday. And today, I have a guest here, Miss Emma Venn, who is with me, and she has a event coming up that is a little unique. I mean, we've heard gospel and we've heard that before, but this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have her tell us a little bit about what we can expect here in Kansas City very soon.
Hello, good afternoon. Again, he's already introduced me. My name is Emma Venn, and I am with Afripel, African Gospel. We're having our third annual Gospel Festival this August 26th at the Highland Community Church of Christ. Looking forward to it. Kansas City, I am inviting you. The event is free. We will have African gospel artists that will be coming to Kansas City to celebrate the goodness of God. So look forward to it.
All right, all right. Well, that sounds great, and I can't wait for that to happen. I think it sounded like a great thing when you first called me, and I thought, okay, this is a little different. I want to see what this is about. So tell me a little bit about Afropale. How did it get started? When did it get started?
So it was a vision. I mean, I love gospel. I sing a lot. I listen to a lot of music. But for some reason, I started getting drawn to more African gospel music. And during my free or quiet time or my worship time, I'll play a music. And then I found myself putting a word to it. And then I'll share with my family. And they started saying, well, why don't you share with others? Because this is good. And it dawned on me, like, if I'm listening to this song and there's a word I'm getting from it and it's helping me in my walk with Christ, I'm like, I want to know about these artists. What inspired them to sing this song? What's the story behind the song? And I started doing interviews with the gospel artists. So instead of about being me, I started interviewing these gospel artists. And some of their stories, I mean, it just was so powerful. And that's how I got started. Then came COVID, and we were all stuck at home. And the Lord just laid it on my heart, why don't you do a festival outdoors and invite one or two of these gospel artists? They can share their stories, and people are so tired of being clustered in. So maybe this is the
Yes.
time where people can come out and just give God praise for this year, an entire year of being at home, going through deaths and just I mean, everything. It was just a place to
Yes.
release. And that's how the Gospel Festival started.
Well, that sounds very good, very good. And, you know, if you're a fan of gospel music, then you want to hear as much and different variations of gospel, because sometimes it can be the same song done by a different artist, and it just has a whole different feel to it. And then if you know the history of the song, as you were saying, you know what they were going through, if you can really feel what that emotion was that went into writing a song, or what was on their mind, or what had happened, that's a testimony.
Definitely. And one of the artists that's going to be here, his name is David Mel, and his story moved me, because you see him, you wouldn't know what he's been through, but he first wrote he used to be a secular gospel artist, and he got burned. And he said before he blocked out, because he got hit by, he was trying to light a generator in an enclosed environment in Africa, and the fire lit, there was fireballs, and they hit him outside. And he said before he blocked out, his prayer was, God, if you save me. And he said with all that fire and flame and heat, he felt this cold wind just come through, and a hand pulled him out of the building.
Wow.
And he made this song called Grateful. And that is his most popular song. And just, I would have never known the story behind his song.
Right.
But once I talked to him, I got to find out what this song "Grateful" was all about, and
Wow.
he told his story.
Yes, yes, that is a thing. I've read a few songs or histories of some songs before, and you just you think, wow, sometimes you don't know how blessed you are,
Exactly.
and you hear what somebody else has went through, and it just makes it real for you and stuff.
Exactly.
So that's good. And they always say that for singers, you need to know more than just the words.
Exactly. Definitely.
So that you can sing it from your heart.
Yes,
Yeah, that's it.
yes.
So that's good. So tell us a little bit about yourself, though. What was your upbringing, or how you got to where you are?
Definitely. And you know what? People never can understand when I say I was shy. I was so reserved. I could not talk to people one on one. I mean, that was me. But I love singing. I would stand in the crowd, in the audience knee high, and I will sing. And that was
Okay.
what I love doing. And I sing in the choir, and I made a vow to God. I'm like, if you do this for me, it didn't matter if I'm singing alone or I'm singing in the choir of 100 people. My goal is to worship and praise you. And I've been doing that since. And I moved to Kansas City in 1993. I am originally from Liberia. And I moved to Kansas City in 1993 due to a civil war that happened in our country. And I've been in Kansas City since.
Okay.
I'm married in Kansas City. I have 2 beautiful daughters. My family's out here, siblings and mothers out here. So Kansas City
very
is
good.
home.
That's it. That's it. Well, that's great. Well, we're glad that you're here and glad that you're bringing this opportunity or this event again here in Kansas City. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect at AfroPale.
Definitely. This is our 3rd annual Gospel Fest. You can expect to have food. We will have vendors. We have people that are bringing food. They're bringing wares, African clothing. You'll get to experience a lot of things. Vending, if you're interested, I'll give you the information. After vending starts from 5 to 6. You can do vending, and then from 6, the program starts. We will have Liberian gospel artists that are not here locally that are going to be traveling to Kansas City for the event. We will also have some local worship and praise group. We'll have local praise dancers. So it's going to be an event just putting aside our problems that one day to just come and experience God's goodness, to come and worship differently and listen to different artists. And at the end of the event, we always want to give someone the opportunity to give their lives to Christ.
Amen. Amen. That's very good. That's very good. So the vending starts at 5, 6 the show. About how long is the festival, the music festival?
It goes about 2 hours.
Okay.
So in between there, we will normally break, do an intermission for people to go out. If you miss something vending,
Yes.
you can always be able to go back and grab a thing or two, and then we come back and close up.
Okay, okay. Well, I tell you, yeah, my wife always missed something, and she wants to go back and get something else that she saw. So,
Yes.
but that's always a great time to get out and to be able to get a memento to help you remember about that. And then if you haven't had any African wear, it's kind of good to have some. Everybody should have something in their closet that they can put on, sometimes for special occasions or for things like that. Our church does that in February.
Yes.
And, it's a Sunday that we wear African attire. That's good. So you got to build up your collection. And
There you go.
so
There'll be
so you
plenty
have a
of that
wardrobe.
there.
You don't want to wear that same dashiki that you've been wearing every year.
Yeah.
So you can get something new on there. So that is very good. So how can they get in touch with you about this event?
Sure. You can reach me. My number is 816-824-0275. And again, my name is Emma Venn. Call about the African Gospel Festival. And if you're interested in vending, you can call 816-878-5101 and speak with Linda. Again, the event is going to be held at the Highland Community Church of Christ, 7615 North Platte Purchase Drive. We had the event out in the park the first year, but because the weather was kind of, so last year it really dampened the being outside in the park. But as God would have it, we thing still went through. We still had the event in the church. So we're going to continue the trend with the event being
Have
in the
it
church.
in the church and
Indoors,
stuff,
yes.
indoors. Yeah, sometimes that is the way. Outdoors, you have to kind of go with the
Exactly,
weather, and
the
you
weather.
never know exactly how that's going to be. So could you give those numbers one more time? If you didn't get your pencils and paper out so that you're ready. She's going to give you the number for vendors and for information about the event.
Definitely. Again, for vending, if you're interested in bringing your items, if you're a small business owner and you want to show off your items, the number to call is 816-878-5101, and that will be Linda. And if you're wanting to know about the Gospel Festival, you can call me. My number is 816-824-0275. And again, my name is Emma Venn.
All right, so we're going to have some local vendors, we're going to have some local artists, and some regional or some artists from not in town here and stuff, and that's going to be Saturday, August the 16th.
August 26th.
August the 26th. Okay, don't come up the 16th, y'all. It's the 26th, August the 26th. So we want you to be there and enjoy that and stuff is good. Now, something I haven't asked you, and I don't know, this is just off the top of my head stuff. Do you want to sing a few bars of your favorite song or something for us here and stuff? I just want to put you on the spot a little bit there and stuff, but I'm thinking, yeah, you may want to give us a little bit of that.
Let's see. You know what? I've been when coming in this afternoon. The song that had been in my spirit was "You Made a Way." I don't know what about it this afternoon, but it has been in my spirit, and it's like you made a way when my back was against the wall, and it looks as if it was over. You made a way, and I'm standing here only because you've made a way.
All right. So hey, that's some of the things that you can hear, and you have a lovely voice.
Thank you. I'm not going to be one of the artists, but I love singing.
Well, yeah, I have a brother that's a singer out in California, and every time he'll tell me, oh, he's heard this person or this, and send me a CD or something, and that was just wonderful, though. Glad to hear that. But yeah, you guys want to come out. Like I say, you want to support the vendors that are coming. Get there at 5 o'clock so that you can see some of the wares and the food and all of that, because supporting the vendors is always important when people have events like this. So we need to support the local entrepreneurs and businesses so that they can have funds for their families and to support these type of events. So come there at 5 o'clock. Bring your purses, bring your billfolds, your charge cards, whatever you got. But then get ready to sit back and hear some good gospel music.
Yes.
And that's totally free.
It's totally free. And it's not your regular gospel concert, I tell you. You will go there and you will dance, but at the end of the day, it's the goodness of God we want to put out there, how God has blessed us, how God has brought us this far. And if you have not experienced the goodness of God, David Mell is going to be there. He's going to tell you his story. Ambassador Charles Slayon is going to be there. He's going to tell you his story. These are the African gospel artists, and many more gospel artists will be there to share their story and their music.
And I have to say, I've never experienced a African-centered gospel show, and I've been to a lot of musicals, but never an African-centered one. So I'm curious, and I want to come and see what it's all about so I can experience it firsthand and be able to tell people what this is actually about.
Exactly.
So that will be great. I tell you, I think this is wonderful. I'm glad that you're doing it. It's the third year for Afro Pale, and that's African gospel. Right here in Kansas City. So I want you to come out, support this event and the church that put it on. Tell your friends about it. Be sure and stay tuned to KUAW Radio. We're going to be having a small commercial that will run in between some of our show breaks and stuff between now and then, so that you'll be able to just keep it on your mind, and maybe we'll put in the contact information and that, so that we can really promote this and get people to come out. And be sure and tell them you heard it on KUAW Radio. That we are here, Kansas City's global community radio station. I want to thank you so very much for coming. And don't make yourself a stranger. So if there's ever any other things going on, or you want to get some word out about some things, be sure and get in touch with us.
I definitely will. And once again, I also say thanks for giving me the opportunity to come and tell Kansas City about this event. Please join us. I tell you, you will not regret. This is going to be an awesome experience. We look forward to seeing you again, 816-824-0275 if you need to reach out to me about the program. And if you're interested in vending, 816-878-5101. Reach out to Linda. This event is going to be at the Highland Community Church of Christ, North 7615 North Platte Purchase Drive, Kansas City.
All right, so that's in the Northland. So a lot of people, you're over in Kansas City on the regular, have to come across the river, but it's worth the drive. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's not that bad, and
It's
you can come up north and enjoy some good gospel music. I think that's going to be fantastic. And I was talking with Emma. We're going to see about getting some of the songs, some of the artists, and we're going to be playing those on Sunday mornings here at KUAW. So, and we'll let you know that this artist is going to be at the event. So she's going to get me some of the songs from some of the artists, and you'll be able to listen to them on KUAW. You won't see them on the video side, but if you listen to our audio, you can go to the TuneIn app, Get Me Radio. If you have a smart speaker like Google or Amazon, tell it to play KUAW Radio. It will play us. And Sunday mornings, we're going to start injecting some of the African gospel music in with our regular gospel music, and let you know that those artists are who's going to be showing up at this event. So keep listening to KUAW Radio. We're glad that you were with us today, and I want to thank you again for coming and sharing this information with us.
Thank you so much. And my prayer is not to keep it in the Northland. Over time, I want to move it around. So I had initially tried to do it here down at 18th and Vine.
Oh, wow.
So that's my
Okay.
goal. I want to move it around. So maybe it could be 18th and Vine, maybe it could be at Grandview Amphitheater. That is my goal. I want everybody to experience this
Oh,
event.
very good. So you hear
fingers
that, Kansas
crossed.
City?
Yes.
Afro Pale may be moving from year to year to different parts of the metro area. So
Exactly.
you may be over in Kansas at some point. And so-
Exactly.
Okay, so I think that that's something that we can get behind. I think a lot of the community can get behind that to help make that happen. And if we can get a big turnout,
Yes.
they need people to turn out. So be sure, August the 26th.
August 26th. Did I mention free?
And it's free. She said, so it's absolutely free. Now, you know that is always a good price to come in
Free
on.
is good.
So you don't have to have anything. Just bring your body and enjoy.
Yes.
So thank you guys for listening to us. We hope that you will support us. Thank you, Emma, for coming and telling Kansas City about this. We really appreciate that. And thank you for the song.
You're welcome. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share this. We look forward to seeing you, Kansas City.
All right, Kansas City, you heard it. This is the BFTAA and More Show, KUAW Radio, Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you so very much for listening. There we go. I get this microphone working right. We wanted to end on a good note, so we want everybody to come out and enjoy Afro Pale. So Afro Pale, which is African gospel, will be happening August the 26th. And as we said, we're going to be playing some of the artists on Sunday mornings. We do that. And Saturday mornings, we actually play some gospel here at KUAW. So tune in to KUAW on the audio side. If you have a Google Smart Speaker or Amazon speaker, tell it to play KUAW. Sometimes they try to play KUOW. No, KUAW. and you can pick us up. Also, if you have one of those smart speakers, if you have a Google or Amazon, some of the Bluetooths in your car, you can set it up. If you have the TuneIn app, we're on the TuneIn app. KUAW Radio broadcasts on TuneIn. We broadcast on Get Me Radio, so you can hear us if you have Roku or if you have an Apple stick or a Fire Stick. Any of those, just search KUAW Radio and you can pick us up on them. You can also pick us up on Online Radio Box and mytuner.com. So there's quite a few ways, and you can also go to KUAW.org and STEM City, USA, or STEM City, Kansas City. If you go to STEM City, Kansas City, you can pick up our audio broadcast there. So there are a lot of places, a lot of ways that you can, excuse me, listen to KUAW Radio, so take advantage of that. We'd love to have you join us, and we'd love to be a part of your day, any part of the day. So get in touch. But you've been listening to KUAW Radio. This is your host, Louis George Walker. I am the president of Black Family Technology Awareness Association and KUAW Radio Station. So these are a couple of the items that we work on and we work with daily. So thank you for joining. Be sure and join us again next week when we bring you more of BFTAA and more. That's all. See you later and bye-bye.